Hi, this is Phyllis at Central Texas Crafter, and today I'm going to show you how I'm mixing the paints up for a class that's I've got coming up, teaching about 10 people in each class. And what I'm teaching them is the swipe technique and embellishing that with balloon kisses and straw flowers, blowing with a straw and making flowers. So what I'm using are these AMERICANA acrylic paints, and they come in a set. The ones I'm buying come in a set off Amazon. There's 18 to a box, and I've been using a sampler box. It's called the AMERICANA sampler. I've been using that box as I do my own crafting and painting, and so I'm getting down to the last few bottles and I'm mixing these up. So I've purchased a couple of sets of these, and then what I'm doing is mixing it with Floetrol, a little bit of distilled water, and putting them in these 4-ounce, and then there's also 8-ounce bottles that I'll be using. I'm also mixing up white paint separately because I'll be using more white paint than the colors. And I use a Sargent acrylic paint, and I also use that 1-to-1 with the Floetrol. And of course the Floetrol comes in a gallon from Home Depot, and I put the tulle ribbon across the top to help screen out the lumps so I don't have that problem to deal with. Okay, so when I bought these 4-ounce bottles from Amazon, they came with a funnel, really nice little funnel, and they also came with the labels to put on there, so I've got the labels marked for each color. And then I'm keeping the bottles when I'm done so I can use these to make 2-ounce bottles of Floetrol and paint mix. So when I'm done, I just put an E on the bottom to show that they're empty, that I can reuse them for that color and use those to disperse the paint as well. So the way this works is I using a Pyrex mixing bowl, and I put the paint in there. And some of the paints are thicker than others. Of course, this box is probably 2 months old, and you don't know how long they're on the shelf. So, but I don't know if it's because some of the paint's just a different density. You know, the pigment might be different, or if the paint's been sitting a while. I'm not really sure what causes it. But I get as much paint out of the bottle as I can, and then I add, depending on how thick the paint is, I'll add 2 to 3 stoppers of distilled water. Here's the stoppers that I'm using. I get those on Amazon as well. And did I say the Floetrol comes from Home Depot? That's where I'm getting that. $13.97 a gallon, something like that. So since this one's a little bit more fluid, this paint, I'm just going to use 3 stoppers first and see how that works. The main intent is just to thin the water a little bit, but also it's helpful to get the paint out of the remaining paint out of the bottle. So I'll go ahead and pour that in there. And now I'm going to add my Floetrol. Okay. So like I've done with the other paint bottles, I'm going to mark an E on the top, put it in my little box over here so I can reuse it later. But I know that I've already emptied this one out pretty well. Let me see if there's any more, a little bit in there. Yep, pretty good. All right, and then as I'm looking at this Pyrex dish, I can tell, it's getting hard to tell, but when I have it level, it's at almost 2 ounces of product. So I'm going to pour equal amount of Floetrol in there to almost 4 ounces. And it's okay if it's a little bit more. Floetrol being a paint pouring medium, or a paint medium, just helps to keep the colors together when you're pouring multiple colors, and it adds some binding to the colors, the paint. So I'm going to mix that up really well. Usually mix it up about a minute, 30 to 45 seconds to a minute, depending on how easy it is to mix it up. Sometimes you can really tell, especially on the darker colors, that it's not well mixed, but I've been finding lately that if I pour the paint in first, then the Floetrol mix is easier, I think. I don't know. And then I want it to be a warm honey consistency that's a little bit thicker than I like, but I think it's great. I'm not going to change it. Alright, so I'm going to get the bottle. I'm going to put it in. These are those 4-ounce bottles I was telling you about. And let me write the label for this color real quick. This color is bright orange. Yes, it is. So I'm going to write that on this little chalkboard label that came with these bottles. It's really a good deal. And I'm just going to put that on the bottle. Like so. And put the funnel in the bottle. And it's pliable, so it's easy to stick it in there. And of course it came with these bottles, so it's perfectly suited for them. And it expands, so when you get it, it's like that. So it's really nice. I like it. And then I'm going to pour this paint in there. I have to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing here so I don't pour too fast and make a mess. Haven't done it yet, knock on wood. Okay, and that's the saying we have in the southern part of the United States. I guess that's common. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of like a superstitious thing. You say, knock on wood when you're hoping you can keep yourself from experiencing whatever that thing is that you described. Alright, so I'm putting the paint in the bottle. It's really easy to tell with the orange. Some of the softer colors, it was hard to tell if I'd gotten it all, but this orange is really vibrant. It's bright. And get that in there. And then the last thing I do is I just make sure that I've removed as much of the paint from the funnel. I just try to use every last drop. I mean, it's not that expensive. It's about $1 a 2-ounce bottle when you buy it on Amazon. And I use Prime shipping, so it's no shipping, which is nice. And so that's fairly inexpensive, and I ended up with about 4 ounces of product. Some of the other bottles, because there was a little bit more paint, I don't know why it's different, it came up to almost 5 ounces. So, but this one's going to be about 4 ounces of product when I get done, so hopefully that's not because I didn't put enough Floetrol, but I think it'll be fine. It'll be just perfect for my classes. I put the top on, and then I'm doing this for all these colors that I have, so I'll be doing this all day today. And then on the on the white paint, I'm going to mix them back into the paint bottles. So, because I have some paint that's already been used, so I'll just mix these 1-to-1, and these are 16-ounce bottles. And then I also have 18-ounce bottles that I purchased on Amazon as well. And I'll be using those for the more popular colors. Alright, well, I hope this was helpful, and have a great day. Take a look at my other videos or YouTube tutorials, and if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.